Hello guys, welcome back to today's video. So guys, today we are going to talk about the M2 money supply. So in my recent video I actually made before uploaded about 2 videos in my YouTube channel, right? I was talking about the M2 money supply with Bitcoin, how it has been correlating with the price of Bitcoin, right? And we're actually using the 108 days, right? When we look at the 108 days, we are actually going to see that the M2 money supply and Bitcoin is exactly following. You can actually see, right? So this was what I was talking about, and I was talking about Bitcoin dropping, right? And in that exact video, right, I'm going to actually play the video so that you guys can actually watch it, right? And for those of you who have not watched it, you can go to my YouTube channel, and I'm going to play the short clips here that is very important, and so that you guys can actually watch it, right? So over here we were at this top here, right? Bitcoin, which is the orange line, was currently at this top here, right? And I was actually saying, okay, we are actually going to follow this drop that the M2 money supply made in the recent drop in the last drop that the M2 money supply had before rallying to the upside, right? So let's look at that video.
We saw a rise. This is the M2 money supply recent move, right? We also saw a move here, and then the M2 money supplies drop before rallying up, right? So what should we actually expect? Because this is actually playing exactly, which for this to actually play exactly, that means Bitcoin should actually drop following this recent drop that the M2 money supply made. So that is yesterday actually made a class. By the way, if you are not.
So you see how that video actually play out, right? We are actually at this exact point, right? If you guys remember very well, right? Bitcoin, which is the orange line, was at this exact point at this top, right? And what do we actually say? We say that we should actually expect drop in the market, right? And what actually happened? Now, if you look at the Bitcoin chart, I'm going to leave it at the top of the screen there. If you look at Bitcoin's chart, you are going to see that drop that actually happened, right? You can see that drop over there that actually happened, and then we are currently going back to the upside, just as what happened here, right? After that drop in the M2 money supply, we saw a bounce, right? This is what Bitcoin is still doing right now, right? We saw a drop, and right now we are currently bouncing. This is Bitcoin, which is the orange line. You can actually see how exactly this is currently playing out. Bitcoin versus the M2 money supply, right? So this actually help us, to get the next move that Bitcoin is currently trying to make, right? So this actually help us to get the next move that Bitcoin is currently trying to make, right? It is not. I will not say this is 100% sure. This is 100%, right? But for now, this is what Bitcoin is currently following, right? And we actually see, as we are actually expecting that recent, as we are actually expecting that drop that actually happened, then it actually happened. You can actually see how it really plays out, and then we actually see a bounce in the M2 money supply, short bounce. I will not actually say this is big, short bounce, right? And overall, you can actually see Bitcoin is currently bouncing as well, right? After that drop, then we are currently bouncing as well, right? So guys, now we actually see that Bitcoin is exactly following this thing. Now, what should we expect? Because we will look at the M2 money supply. This is the M2 money supply current move already, right? The M2 money supply is currently sitting here, right? It's currently sitting at all-time high, and this is the M2 money recent move, right? You can actually see that recent move that actually happened. This actually happened within a period of 2 months, right? We saw that rally, right? So when we actually using the 108 days offset with Bitcoin and versus the M2 money supply, we can actually see that Bitcoin is currently following M2 money supply move. You can actually see Bitcoin rallied, M2 money supply, which is the yellow line, rallied, right? We were sitting at this top that very day I actually made that video. Of course, you guys can go and watch it, right? Right? Which is the orange line, which is Bitcoin, which is currently sitting down here. Bitcoin was sitting down here, right? I will actually say in that video, like I say, we are actually expecting that drop, and you can actually see how Bitcoin actually drop. You can also see that in the chart in the up of the screen there, right? And now what actually happened? The M2 money supply bounced, and Bitcoin is currently bouncing right now. So what should we expect, since we know that this is following Bitcoin? This is actually following Bitcoin is actually following this move properly, right? So what should we see now? Guys, pay attention, right? So now what we want to see next is what, after this bounce here, which is Bitcoin is currently having right now, right? So that, let me show you something. So which is Bitcoin is currently having right now, right? We saw that move. You can actually see that move that the M2 money supply had. Bitcoin also, we can actually see that bounce after that drop actually happened, right? Exactly playing out. And now after that bounce, what actually happened? We saw a micro drop, just a drop, right? So what should we actually expect in the price of Bitcoin, right? We should also expect a micro drop, right? And I'm going to show you in the chart of Bitcoin how it's actually going to look like, right? Because I actually made a chart about it, right? So coming back to these lows, right, before actually seeing a huge run. Now many people has been asking me in my community, when will this huge run start? I think this huge run should start in May, early May. We are going to see huge bounce. This will actually shock a lot of people in the crypto space of as how Bitcoin is going to bounce, right? Because when this actually happens, Bitcoin following this M2 money supply, and Bitcoin starts seeing a huge bounce, whew, then I think altcoins and some of the strong meme coins will also follow this move as well. A lot of coins will actually bounce, but not all. You get the point. So this is what I'm actually expecting to happen, right? We actually saw a move up here after that drop, right? Bitcoin also did the same thing, drop, and then we're actually moving up. You can actually see it here. Bitcoin is the orange line, and then what happened? M2 money supply drop. So as Bitcoin, we're actually expecting Bitcoin also to also drop before that last blast off. Whew, man, I can't wait for this time because when I look at the chart like this, I'll go like, if Bitcoin follows exactly this thing, that means we are going to see the biggest run. I mean, yeah, we are going to see a huge run in the price of Bitcoin and in the price of other cryptocurrency as well, right? So guys, pay attention, right? So let's look at the chart of Bitcoin. Let's go and look at the chart of Bitcoin. So guys, this is the chart of Bitcoin, right? And when I was doing that recent video, Bitcoin was at this level. Bitcoin was here. Bitcoin was around here, right? And that drop actually happened. You can actually see that drop actually happened, right? How that drop actually plays out, right? You can see that drop actually happened, the price of Bitcoin, and right now Bitcoin actually bounced, right? So we are going to look at the 1-day time frame. Let's look at the 1-day time frame to zoom in what actually happened, right? So you can see that drop that actually happened. If you try to zoom in, Bitcoin was around this level when I made that video exactly, right? And then that drop actually happened, and now we are actually bouncing back based on what the M2 money supply is actually saying, right? If we are to expect the price of Bitcoin, what will happen next in the price of Bitcoin, right? We should have something like this. We should have something like this where the price is actually going to go up, and then we should come down in the next following day based on the M2 money supply, because the M2 money supply is currently if you look at what actually explained, right, we should actually expect drop in the M2 money supply, that micro drop, and then we should actually expect a huge run up to the upside. So this, if you see Bitcoin still dropping, is going to be a last buying opportunity, and we are going to see a huge run up in the price of Bitcoin, right? So where are we going to see that huge run up? We are going to see it at a new all-time high. So let me actually show you guys how it will look like. So we are going to see Bitcoin at a new all-time high. Let me say we see that drop, and then we actually start seeing a huge run, right? A huge run to a new all-time high based on what the anti-money supply is currently telling us, because this is what Bitcoin is currently following, right? So guys, this is all I have to give you guys. This is currently an update, and this is also what we should also expect next, possible things that could actually please out. We should actually expect next in the price of Bitcoin. So guys, get ready, there's a huge wave coming, right? So guys, make sure to subscribe, like this video, and also join the legend community. Join our WhatsApp group, Crypto Hunters Academic, right? If you are new to crypto and you want to actually get onboarded, right, what you have to do is to hit the link in the description of this video, or you can go to the comment section. I'll be pinning it there. And also, for those of you who are actually interested in futures trading, if you have any experience in futures trading, right, and you want to actually start taking the trade I'm currently taking, right, also hit the link in the comment section or in the description of this video, and do what, and subscribe to actually join my WhatsApp group. We actually provide futures signal, right, so that we actually make profit together. So guys, this is what I'm currently doing, and I'm still holding all my coins that I've currently bought, right, because if this new wave comes, it's going to be a tsunami, right? So guys, I'm going to see my next video. Peace.